Greetings. Welcome to the Inspirational Talk podcast with your creator and your host, Timothy Robinson. Hope all is well. I hope you have all been having a very safe and productive week. Uh, let's recap. Let's recap. On the last episode, we talked about addiction. Uh, I got several phone calls, several emails, and they've been pouring in about addiction. And I really appreciate the support, and I really appreciate the comments that you guys have made. And I like to thank you guys for your support. I do. I went there with addiction. Yeah, I went there with addiction, and you guys need to know why I do what I do. And so, addiction was very close to me, and it pulled a lot out of me to be able to talk on this platform and to be able to share my experiences on this platform. My mother is near and dear to me. This weekend we gonna approach Mother's Day, and like I told you in the previous episode, I'll always think about her, and I hope that you guys received it as such. And I wanted to be a voice for her the right way. And so I feel like that, well, I know that I have a chance to be able to do that. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very thankful that God has chose me to be able to come forth with the message about addiction. So you guys continue to pour into me, and I will always deliver because, like I said in the previous episode, this is my calling and this is what I do. Um, all right, let's go to the next point. The next point is please continue to send your emails and your texts and your comments uh, for the show because this is very important. Like I said, you guys drive the show. You guys drive the show. So please continue to support that. And please continue to do that too as well. All right. Your donations are very important. Your donations are very important. And like I said, we have a vision for the movement, and it's continuing to gather full steam ahead, and is continuing to be on rotation in the algorithm. I hope I said that right. And so I thank you all for that. I thank you all for that. So please support the show. And like I said, my contact information is going to be at the end of the show. So you guys can be able to support that too as well. Okay. All right. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. This is the month of May. This is the month of May, and the weather's changing, and people start doing a lot of outside activities, and I am blessed to, you know, if the Lord said the same, um, have a birthday on May 16th, and so I am very grateful, for that to be able to be, like I said, if the Lord said the same, I'll be 54 years old. I can remember when I was a little boy, you know, and oftentimes I look in the mirror and I see that little boy in the inside of me, and I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. No, about close to about 3 years ago. Uh, I looked in the mirror one day and I said, "Man, you know, um, you're getting a little older." And like I said, I can remember when I was a boy, and it's amazing how life changes, you know, and the things that we wanting to know the answers to, and the things that we deal with on a daily basis. All of it comes full circle, people. All of it comes full circle. So to be able to be on this platform today and to be able to share my experiences with you all. Uh, I don't take that lightly. I don't take it lightly at all. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Like I said, on the 16th, you know, I'm having a birthday. So, you know, I'm grateful to be able to, as the Lord said the same, to be able to see it and, live in it and on, things like birthdays. And, for me, uh, I like to have them quiet. That's me. And I like to, I don't like to bring a lot of attention to myself and things of that nature, put what birthday shots and this and that, whatever, and people contacting and this and that, whatever, and which is beautiful. People take time out, they like to think about you, to send you something or to acknowledge that that's your day or whatever the case may be. I think that's beautiful because, like I said before, people got a lot of things going on. And if they think enough of you to reach out to you, uh, to acknowledge, your day, I'm humble about it. I'm grateful. And so, yeah, 16th, uh, this little boy will be 54 years old. Excuse me. Yeah, he'll be 54 years old. Okay, like I said earlier, please continue to email me. Please continue to text me. Please continue to call me with your thoughts about the show and your ideas of what you want, and so we can be able to keep this movement moving straight ahead. And like I said a minute ago, your donations are very important. Your donations are very important, and and I let me say this. I remember several months ago when I just had launched a show. A gentleman spoke to me, and he said, "You know what? I understand now. A lot of people have podcasts because that's the hot thing going on, and that's the new thing going on. And you know, a lot of them would like to have a show, or a lot of people have a show just to have a show, just to say that this is what I'm doing now. This is the new trend, and this is what I'm doing now." And he looked at me and he stared for a minute, and he said, "You know what? You have a show, and you have something to say, and that's what people need to hear." And I was taken back a little bit by it because you can tell this gentleman gave it some thought. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for you guys to be able to embrace me, uh, embrace my personality, embrace my my life stories, you know, and embracing the fact that I do have the courage to be able to share it. Okay, I do have the courage to be able to share it, and this is something that I don't take lightly. I don't take lightly at all. Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay, this topic that we're going to talk about, this week's topic that we're going to talk about is communication. Communication. And once again, notice, we laying the groundwork. We laying the groundwork. We we have now groundwork to be able to, with our pavement to be able to be thick, hard, and to have the little things about our personality to be able to be laid out so we can be able to understand this grand scope of things when it comes to life. And communication is important. Uh, One of my close friends reached out to me, and well, not reached out to me. Excuse me. We was talking on the phone, And I came up with the idea and said, hey, let's do communication. And I thought about it, and I thought about the importance of it too as well. Excuse me. And you know how things come with me. It's just a flood of ideas, a flood of thoughts came to me about communication, and so there we have it. Communication. Communication is really important. You know, it's very important to be able to be a effective communicator, right? Because we want to be heard in the manner which we try to receive. I mean, trying to give a certain thought or something that we've been thinking about. And so, effective communication is very important because we notice ineffective communication, your intent has to be clear. Your intent has to be clear. And at times, our intent, you know, get lost in the middle of while we communicating, right? Okay. The meaning of communication, a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, and behavior. Is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, and behavior. Okay, the reason why communication is important because we as human beings, we are emotional. We are emotional. And like I stated in the previous episode, we are also sensitive. We're also sensitive. And me personally, like I stated before, uh, I had to put that label on everybody in order to be able to see life clearly, you know. And so at times, we often get our intent mixed up when we communicate. And so we have to be careful. And communication is a couple of things that comes with communication for me uh, is discipline because your emotions is right there. And in order to be a effective communicator, you have to have discipline. And for me, it causes me to slow down and to be able to try to explain my point clearly, right? Try to explain my point clearly. So I can be perceived as such, whatever point that I'm trying to make. Okay? All right. The next thing that comes along with that is listening. Listening is the key to being a good communicator. You have to listen because we don't see things the same. We as people, we are different. We don't see people. I mean, we don't see things the same. And so you have to be able to be a good listener. And to me, what's tacked on to good listening is discipline. A lot of people at times they're not good listeners because they're waiting for you to get finished so they can put their point on top of yours. They are waiting for you to get finished talking so they can be able to put their point on top of yours. And with that being said, that starts into going to that starts for the conversation going to the left and going to the right. And now it can slip in a debate, it can slip into an argument. Because during these times right here, people, we are trying to protect our point. We are trying to drive home our point. Okay. I pretty much know what you said, so I got something for that. Okay. I kind of know how you think, so I got this for that. And so, where is the where's the common ground in this? We sit up having a misunderstanding about a topic or a point that we're trying to make, or whatever the case may be. And hey, does it cause for, excuse me, does it cause for the back and forth? Does it cause for the arguments? Not necessarily. That's not always the case all the time. Because when we are protecting something, and so we have to be disciplined and we have to listen to what the other person is saying. And quite a few times we are in our own way with it too, because of a belief system or because of the way we see things, you know, or the way we think things might, or the way we think things should go. And like I said, people are different. So it's not going to be that way all the time or be that way the majority of the time. Listen, I had to sit back, excuse me, allergy season. I had to sit back and to, to get this thing called life, you have to let people be who they are. It's very important to let people be who they are. And we often think that we can will our beliefs or will our opinion on the individual or on people to get them to buy into what we're trying to say or get them to do what we're trying to, what we want them to do. And when they see things different, there lies the dilemma. So try to set your emotions aside. I noticed something uh, years ago, when either on the job or when you have a detailed conversation with a friend, and you trying to explain your point or you trying to explain your intent on why you said what you said or why you did what you did. I noticed the first individual that becomes emotional or their voice elevate, 9 times out of 10, that is the issue that they are either protecting or that's the point that they want to get across. And quite a few times, it be kind of misconstrued, you know, because they're not having an open mind to be able to receive the information that the other party is trying to say. You have to have an open mind in this life. It's very important to be open because, listen, I don't know everything that's right for me. I'm gonna be the first to admit that. I don't know. I I be I'm in my way a lot of times, but I have to be able to acknowledge that and to be able to know that, hey, when I get in my way, I really have to take time to listen. I really have to have some discipline when it comes to people because at the end of the day, you know, people they notice your hang-ups, but they're not just gonna go there with you. Quite a few times they're not gonna do it. So try to get out of your own way when you're dealing with sensitive topics. Try to have an open mind. I can't express that enough. An open mind. It's very important. Okay. Excuse me. Effective communication. Exchange of ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. Let me say that again. Effective communication, exchange of ideas, thoughts, opinions, and knowledge and data so that the message can be received and understood with clarity and purpose. You know, we as people, like I stated a minute ago, we have a lot of emotions dealing with communication, and you can tell because you can tell by. I mean, I know I do by my facial expressions, by the way my tone is elevated when I'm talking about something, passionate, and all of it is normal. However, you have to be a little disciplined, and I have to be a little disciplined so we can be able to get our point across the right way, right? Okay. Effective communication, or just communication, period. Uh, when done the right way, your family can benefit from it, your friends can benefit from it, and even in relationships, the way you communicate your your points, or anything for that matter, uh, you have to be effective communicator, you know, and it's it's imperative that we take time in doing this. Like like I said, that's the time that you spend with yourself and knowing who you are. Because once you know who you are, and you have the most um, up. What am I trying to say? You have the most. What am I trying to say? You have the most utmost respect for your mate, and so it's very important to be an effective communicator when you are in your relationship. If you have a strong point or strong stance about something, communicate it effectively. Try to communicate it effectively so that your mate can be able to understand your intent, and so your intent can be clear. Okay? So your intent can be clear. Words are powerful. Words are powerful. Somewhere I heard, you know, if you hit me, within times my wounds will heal. But if you say something to me, you can't take that back. Words are powerful. And so it's very important to choose your words carefully. One word in a statement can take the conversation totally left or totally right. One word. And so I always practice trying to breathe, you know, trying to breathe when I'm passionate about something, and y'all notice, when I'm passionate about something, y'all notice my tone get elevated and my facial expressions be aggressive, and I'm trying to bring home a point. But you have to be able to take your time to be able to choose your words carefully, because hurt people, right? Hurt people. Think about what you're saying before you say it. Think about what you're saying before you say it. Why, Tim? That's pretty much self-explanatory, and we all know this, but it still get twisted up in the middle of communicating. Think about what you're saying, because me personally, I am not the type of person to intentionally wrong somebody or intentionally say something that's hurtful. When I, at times be passionate about something, quite a few times, I want understanding. I just, I mean, listen, I will say it in a minute. What am I missing? Because I see it XYZ, and the way I hear it, the way I'm listening to you, I hear different. So let me be able to calm myself down and be able to listen to what you're trying to say to me. And if you have the patience, please explain it to me so I can be able to understand your intent. All right? People are not going to always see your point in communication, in communicating. People are not going to always see your point. And dealing with effective communication, there's some things that you can learn in the middle of it while you're communicating your points. I didn't see it like that. But I can see how you see it like that. And it makes a lot of sense to me, you know. And, I appreciate you taking time out to say it because you didn't have to. We all see things differently through our experiences. We are sum total of our experiences, good and bad, you know. And it's very important to be able to understand that because quite a few people that you run to in your lives, in the course of your life, they're going to come from different backgrounds. They're going to see things different. And so you have to have a little discipline and you have to be patient. If anything that you're talking about that's important, I mean, it could be on your job. It could be doing doing a social gathering, or y'all trying to get y'all have a common goal that trying to get y'all trying to get accomplished. And you have to be able to stay at an even keel and be a good listener. Listen to people because we all have different experiences and we all see things different. Like I said, two identical twins don't think alike. They can have the same hairstyle, same eye color, same clothes on. You close your eyes and open your eyes up. They can switch places when you do that, and you wouldn't even know the difference. But they think different. Don't talk at people because see, when you get upset and when you feel like that your point is not being heard, while you're communicating, then you start getting short, you start getting sharp. Like my grandmother used to say, boy, now your mouth getting sporty now. You know, you need to calm down and calm that tone down too. So don't talk at people because see, like I said, stated earlier, I can sense when somebody energy is going to the left or going to the right, and they're not hearing. I mean, excuse me, they're not listening to what I'm my point. And so try not to talk at people because you don't want nobody talking at you. And try not to judge. It's very important. Listen, hear them out. Even if you heard it 50 times over, hear them out. I can always, now this is me personally, I can always tell the smartest guy in the room or the smartest woman in the room because even though that they are intelligent and they choose their words carefully, I like it, especially when doing interviews and doing panel discussions. I like to see the other people sitting listening to them, and I can tell a person is wise, a person is smart because they are always good listeners, especially the ones that choose their words carefully. They're always good listeners. And I think, me personally, I think that that's a classy thing. That's very classy, you know, because Dr. King to me was a good listener. Listen, it can be they can be in a meeting and he doesn't always have the flow. He listening to other people. He listening to other people talk. They be emotional, this and that, whatever. He's still at an even keel. Even at home, when they show clips of him eating with his family and his kids are talking and this and that, whatever, he got an even keel. So I've always admired that. Don't judge people. Always try to use the right words. It's very important. Always try to use the right words. Because, like I said earlier, you can't take that back. You can't. You can't take words back. And if your intent is not to hurt anybody, use the right words. Try to be able to get your point across. And let your intent be clear. Like I said earlier, it's very important to let your intent be clear. And when you noticing y'all, you guys dialogue slipping into a debate, me personally, I don't like debating. And the reason why I don't like debating, at that point in the conversation, we're not listening to either party's not listening. We just put point on top of point, point on top of point. We debating, and to me, what's gonna get what's gonna get solved um, when you debating? You just want to let somebody know how smart you is or what you thought about. Okay, fine, you do that, but I'm not gonna do it with you. The most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. The most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. Um, I utilize this point in my life daily because I'm a big proponent of looking at nonverbal cues, how your energy, your body language, how's that. I try to process that while I'm communicating and while I'm listening to people trying to communicate their point to me. The biggest communication problem is we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. Let me say that again. The biggest communication problem is we don't listen to understand. Like I said earlier, we listen to reply. We listen to reply. And if it's important to you, take time out to listen. If you think a lot of what you're doing, it could be at work, or it could be in one of your social meetings, or at church for what and y'all have a common goal, y'all have a common vision in head. I mean, vision in mind. Listen, we are often afraid of being vulnerable, but vulnerability creates genuineness. Let me say that again. I like that. We are often afraid of being vulnerable, people, but vulnerability creates genuine connections. Okay, that's your point. You explain. What's the reason behind? What's the reason behind? And listen, this thing called communication is very important because communication shapes our relationships. And we listen to the people that we love. We listen to the people that we love. My family, excuse me, my family, my birth family, and my kids, and my wife at the time. I listened to them. I told my wife. I used to tell my wife often, my late wife often, I listen to you when I don't want to, because that's how you get my, that's how your voice is pricked in my spirit. I listen to you, and there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. This is the point that I'm trying to express, and this is the reason why I don't want our relationship to go this way, because doing this way it opens up for X, Y, Z, and I don't want that. So when I express that to you, that's what I mean by behind that. It's okay. I don't know who made it in this world, but being vulnerable is something that's being weak. If you talking to somebody who you care about, whoever said that, forget that. I'm trying to get my point across, and I'm trying to get it across the right way. Because because my mate who I care about or my kids, I want them to know. And quite a few times when you talking to your kids or when you teaching them life lessons, I often used to tell my kids the lessons. I'm still telling this today. I said the lessons in life are bigger than me. The reason why I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about is because, for an example, if I go out and I'm speeding and I get pulled over and I get a speeding ticket. So the thing of it is, if you don't want to get a speeding ticket, do the speed limit. So what makes life for me different for you? There's consequences to everything that we do. So a lot of times, when you're a parent, you have to communicate uh, the importance of cause and effect in life. You have to communicate that because life doesn't change for my kids. There's still the same laws that I abide by that they have to abide by. So it's okay to be vulnerable while communicating, especially if you love them, especially if you're trying to get a common goal across. Our parents at times was not uh, effective communicators. They did the best they did. I mean, they did the best they did with what they had, and I totally understand and I totally respect that. They did the best they could, and so now um, they created a platform for me to be able to, okay, with the knowledge and with the understanding and with the changing of times, let me try to communicate this a thing called life a little bit uh, more effective to my kids. And a lot of times we charge our parents with too much. They was learning on the fly just like we doing today. I, you guys do not have to say this. I'm gonna say this because I didn't know much about life, so I charged them with too much. And if there's any conversation that I would rather love to have with them today, it'll be that, you know what, I apologize for that because I didn't know much about life. And and when you notice when you providing an atmosphere that's comfortable, people are more freely to express themselves, and you can see their intent clearly. So try not to charge your parents with all of this, because I mean, this knowledge that you're growing into, you even growing into it today. care about people or a person, try to do the best by them. If you care about people or a person, try to do the best. And just this is one of these statements. Uh, I'm thinking about the platform. It's very important, just like I stated some previous episodes. It's very important for me to do right by you all on this platform. And when I say that I'm duty bound to tell you the truth, that's what that means. I'm duty bound to be honest to be honest to you. It's important to me for that. Because once you look back at it, you say, you know what? And even me, uh, did I do right by them? Did I tell them the truth? Like I said, it's not my job to protect it, not my job to police, but you know what? When you look back on it, that boy did. Oh, he tried. Miscommunication could start wars. We see it every day on TV, overseas. We see it here in America. Miscommunication can start wars. But all of these things that we've been talking about earlier, if it's miscommunicated and the intent is misconstrued, overseas, they launching missiles. They're getting rid of babies. I don't want to go too extreme into that, but you see it on TV. Excuse me. You see it on TV. So miscommunication can start wars. Hurt people have a voice. Hurt people have a voice. And a lot of times, hurt people don't, they don't even feel the need to express themselves because, they will say that you already think of me like this, or you already think of me like that. What's the use to explaining myself? And that's not cool. That's not right. You know, um, I often think about that when, excuse me, when I think about people that's addicted to drugs. We like I said, growing up, we didn't know much about life. We made fun of people that was addicted, and we didn't want to hear what they had to say because the outer appearance in which what we saw, you know, uh, we didn't, we was not too kind to them, but to sit and to not judge people and to listen to them and to listen to their story where they feel comfortable enough to share it, then you can see that they have a voice. People see things different, like I stated earlier. And here's another point. And it was amazing to be able to experience that in both of these guys' latter days, Dr. King and Malcolm X. Their common goal was to uplift people and to give people the knowledge. But when they first started out, it seemed like that their point of views was so far apart, in which which it might have been. I mean, I don't care about the details, but what I care about is toward the latter days, they they start to show tremendous amount of respect for one another, and their body of work and what they generally said was what they generally said was, hey, you want to do the same thing that I want to do, and let's see how people in better conditions or situations or whatever that may be. A point of miscommunication is that if not um, conveyed the right way, uh, it can put people on or a person on a course in life that's totally different from what God wants them to do. And I was blessed to be able to, no matter how much pain, no matter how much suffering that I felt that I went through, emotional damage, um, God still had me on the course that He had chosen for me. At least, that's what I try to live by every day. I can recall uh, some communication that I feel the intent was different, but the way this was communicated, it got misconstrued. Um, and I wrote about this in the book My Life, My Times. When I first started playing football, um, I had a childhood friend that was a year older than me. And so he was in high school a year before I went to high school. And we used to practice every day on our craft in the park in the neighborhood that we grew up in. And he had presented an idea to me uh, to go to a football camp. I think it was like a week. And so, and I was just going to high school, but if I would have went to this football camp and I would have honed in on my skills and my knowledge of the game, uh, I would have grasped the concept, uh, you know, a little quicker, and so that would have led me with a slight edge on the knowledge of the game. And so he sold me on this idea of going to this football camp. And by this time, we now I needed my mother's permission to be able to do that. And so he tried to sell me on the well, he had sold me on the idea of going. And so uh, I wanted to go, truly. I wanted to go. And so he said, well, why don't you talk to your mom about it and, see how she feel about it. And so we can be able to, man, sign you up so you can be able to go. And, man, it would help you tremendously. And, I was hungry and I wanted to receive I wanted to receive the knowledge of, so I can be able to perfect my craft. And so I can be able to get a scholarship so I can, so my parents won't have to pay for it. And I can be able to do my thing, live my life. And so we, after he sold me on the idea, he said, well, let's go talk to your mother. And man, no, no, no. You know what? I'm 6'4", 200 some pounds. But back then I was about 6'1", you know, close to 200 some pounds. But anyway, my mother, she was about 5'5". And my mother had the neck. I was so afraid of my mother when she used to get upset at me about something. Uh, it was hard for me to stand in front of her and listen to what she had to say to me. And if it's something negative, it always felt like that my mother could snatch my heart out of my chest at any given time that she wanted to. And by this time, I'm growing into puberty. I'm getting stronger, and I want to have some. I'm walking into manhood. I want to be able to have some type of tact, strength about. Let me hold myself together. But my mother always had the ability to say when she wanted to, and that made me furious. But that also made me fearful. So we walk in the house. Proceed to tell my mother. Now ask my mother for her permission on this idea of me going to football camp. And my friend back in the day, he was not afraid to express himself an to an adult. He was not afraid. I always was afraid to do that because I mean we was brought up to a kid stay in a kid's place, and so I was afraid of that very much so. And so my friend went in and he asked my mother, can he speak with her? And my mother was in the kitchen washing dishes at this time. And my friend proceeded to sell her on the idea of me trying to go to this football camp. And once he asked, can he talk to her? She looked out the corner of her. She looked out the corner of her eye, and I, 6'1", close to 200 pounds, I got afraid, and my big behind ran and stood by the side door, scared. And my friend went right down the script on trying to sell her on this idea of me going to the football camp. And she turned around and looked at him after she looked at the corner of her eye. She said, you know what? That may be fine for what you and your coach got for you. But Timmy, he's not worth doing all that for. He's not worth going out and playing all of this and doing all that. No. Matter of fact, you need to stop talking to me about this. And my friend looked because he feel the conversation wasn't going the way that we had expected it to go, expected it to go. And he looked at her and said, how could you say that about your son? She said, that is the way I feel. And if you ask me again, I'm going to view this here as disrespectful. Because I don't have to explain myself to you, kid, boy, whatever. And he got so frustrated, he said, well, one day you're going to have to pay to see him play. He stormed out the door. And I went right in behind him because I was already right behind the door. But in the midst of that exchange that she had with him, uh, a layer of doubt came over me. A layer of fear came over me. A layer of uncertainty, you know. If she don't believe in me, what I'm doing? Or can I do it? And it hurt. It rocked me to my core. It did. Maybe she was trying to say something else. But here, in a couple of days, the Lord say the same. I'm going to be embarking on 54 years old. And I remember like it was yesterday. behind my friend. He turned around. He was so furious. He looked at him. I mean, he looked at me and said, "You know what, Timmy? You're gonna have to work twice as hard to get what you want to get in life." Bless his heart. He, he tried to protect my dream that I had, that I tried to lay out for myself. Something that a mom and dad supposed to do. But I didn't come up in an ideal situation. My parents did the best they could with what they had. But that hurt. That cut me. And so I had to work. I had to grind. I had to get it. And I remember my first college game that I played. It was like I think the second Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis. Uh, we came to town. They've been promoting the game on TV all that week. And my grandmother said to my uncle, he said, "Go over there to that hotel and pick him up because they said that he's gonna have about 3 hours right before they start practicing, and he want to come home for a minute to see us right before we start practicing and playing in the game." But my uncle went, came and got me after we got in town, and my granddaddy was sitting on the front porch, and I spoke to him, and I walked in the house, and you know how we do, we go straight to the refrigerator. She was in there, and by this time, my mother woke up from being out the previous night, and she looked at me, and she said, "Hey, Timmy, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine." She said, "You gonna play in the game that they've been talking about all week on TV and in the radio, on the radio?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And mind you now, my mother had never been to a football game. I played junior high school, never. And she looked at me and said, "You know what? I would love to go and see you play in that game." And I reached in my pocket and I gave her 4 tickets. And it took me back to that moment that my friend said in that very same kitchen that we had this exchange in. Then one day you're gonna have to pay to see him play. And I gave her 4 tickets. And that was her first time coming uh, to a game. You never know. You never know, people, what course that life's gonna take you on. But you know one thing: if you are able to stay the course and let the master head your life, that you can come out pretty decent. And God will hold you through the down moments, and you will get some clarity, and you will get some understanding. Now, her intent probably wasn't to hurt me because I'm a son. She loved me. She probably was speaking out of anger. She probably was speaking out of being frustrated in her current situation at the time. But it came out like that. And those are scars that I bear today. But I'm thankful that God answered my prayers. And He's still doing it today. So, effective communication is important. Um, Please be careful of your words. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to listen so your point can be heard. So, with that being said, thank you. Please email me, call me, support the show. Please support the show. Support the show. So, with that being said, it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. And you guys opening your arms up and accepting me for who I am. And always remember, if I can do it, you can do it.